Is Titanfall the game for you? It's one of the questions I get. Wait. Okay, so obviously I mean Quantum League. Is Quantum League the game for you? I was just editing this video and then obviously went back to double check and re-listen to it, and for some reason I said Titanfall. I mean, I refer to it later in the video, but I have no idea how that happened. Okay, so let's try it again. Is
Quantum League
the game for you? It's one of the questions I get asked quite a bit. So the short answer is yes, but there is an asterisk. So I want to say probably yes. Look, I'll just explain what sort of person would really enjoy this sort of game. And if you think that you match this description and it sounds interesting to you, well, give it a try. Look, as a disclaimer, not everyone will like this game. So I'll just go through a few of the pros and cons, the ups and downs, and you can make that decision for yourself. It's worth mentioning that the main contention that people have with this game is the player base. And don't get me wrong, it's a very valid criticism, but I will address that last, and instead I'll talk about the game itself. So firstly, it is a very visually pleasing game. It has very bright and vibrant colours, and I'm a big fan of the sort of cartoony art style. So it reminds me a bit like an Overwatch type game, compared to, you know, Call of Duty, Gears of War, which focus on a more realistic sort of environment. All the characters seem very unique and differentiated from each other, especially now that character passives are out. It sort of gives them each a bit more of like a personality. It may even be cool to see some voice acting later on. There are a couple bugs here and there. You occasionally get gun jams, where effectively your gun just won't shoot at all, no matter what you do, which kind of sucks when that happens. And occasionally you can get something wrong in the time loop, like at the very end of a round you would have killed a clone, but in the next round it actually says that you don't. I don't fully understand what causes it. But it is a small bug, but again, the devs are all aware of this, and this will probably be something that they figure out and fix before they do a full release. So in terms of crashes and the stability of the game, there's next to none, and it's surprisingly refreshing from a game that's still quite early on in its career. Over my probably around 100 hours of gameplay, I've probably had maybe about 5 crashes or so, which I think is perfectly reasonable. What's a bit more common is that you'll find a game and it'll try to connect you to your opponent, but then for some reason you'll just be brought back to the main menu screen. But again, this is pretty rare. The devs are aware of it and they are working to fix it, and I mean, honestly, all you do is just queue back up again, so it's no big deal. And while we're talking about the devs, they're pretty awesome. They're a small crew from Argentina, I believe. They've got a Discord dedicated to Quantum League, and it's a great place for open discussion. You can put forward suggestions, and people can vote on them, on, you know, different changes that you might want to see in the game. There's also a roadmap, so you can see what plans they have for the game and which direction it's going in. And there's a bunch of great friendly people there who are more than happy to discuss anything Quantum League related. And everyone else in the community are really cool and helpful, so I'm making all of these videos just to help newer players get over that first initial strategic hurdle, I guess you could call it, because it does take a little bit of time to figure out how exactly the game works and what the best method it is to win. So that's what my job is, effectively, is to give those people those starting tips. But of course, I've said many times in other videos, I'm definitely not the best, and when I play against the best, you know, they're happy to give me some tips as well, and you can always jump into one of their streams, ask any questions, and, you know, people are really friendly and they're very helpful to newer players. You won't ever feel unwelcome.
I'm expecting Ripperoo, and he lands the headshot right off the get-go. One shot, one kill, literally all it takes. Ballsy Raccoon, my goodness.
So I have never seen a game with such a small player base, but with such a dedication to creating such a professional looking environment. So there are professionally run tournaments, online of course, with actual cash as prizes or unique skins. All of these are very well run, they're all streamed on Twitch and are then later uploaded to YouTube. They've got some really good casters, so shout out to all of them that help make it happen. You can sign up to any of these tournaments just through the Discord and everything. It's really simple to do. Sometimes even they'll have streamed in-house matches, so just when you're watching you can basically just sign up or send a message and you'll be able to play on the stream in front of everyone. So like myself, I had a few games in one of their biggest events, so I played a match in front of about 4,000 people or so. That was really cool, and they get people in to help explain the game to some of the newcomers and people who aren't quite as familiar. So let's talk about the gameplay. Is this game going to be good for you? And I mean, let me just start by reiterating that if you're looking for a run and gun type of game, like your CODs, Halo, Titanfall, Apex Legends, this is not that. This is not a guns blazing, explosions everywhere, bullets flying, that sort of game. Right, this is a much more slower, methodical, thinking ahead type of game. And so I'll explain what I mean by this. In the aforementioned titles, you can win those games on skill alone. Strategy does exist, especially at the higher levels. So for instance, I used to play quite a bit of Halo back in the day, and there was just so much to think about. So like holding setups, rotations, influencing spawns, covering flanks, weapon timing. I mean, that's just scratching the surface. But the thing is with that, you could still have heaps of fun even if you didn't have any understanding of those deeper sort of tactics. You could just run around and shoot things, and you know, who doesn't like that? And so in Quantum League, you can still have fun from running around and shooting things, but the main fun comes from the strategy, the planning, thinking ahead. So I guess I would classify this game more as a strategic first-person shooter, as in you will win this game if you have superior tactics. Having great aim isn't necessary for a victory if you have brilliant tactics. So it's a bit more like chess. You wouldn't go into a chess game with the intention of just capturing a ton of pieces. And there are times where it becomes quite intense as far as the shooting goes, but again, the focus is mostly on the strategy. So if you like games where outplaying your opponent was more based on tactics, thinking, you know, the big brain 200 IQ plays, then you will absolutely love this game. This isn't to say that you won't enjoy this game for the shooting side of it, because it is really satisfying popping off 3 headshots and taking a clone down in half a second. But if you're a big fan of just the running everywhere and shooting, quickly respawning, getting back into the action, then you'll probably have a bit more fun in Titanfall. But who knows, you know, maybe there's a part of you that would actually really enjoy this type of game. There aren't many of these sort of games out there, and this sort of really fills that strategic first-person shooter void. Another really cool thing about this game is that the matches are quite short. They're 5 to 10 minutes. Maybe if you keep going into overtime, you could stretch it to 15 minutes, but that's quite rare. So they're really quick rounds, and you don't have to sit down and dedicate 40 minutes to an hour or something like you would with League of Legends. Alright, now let's address the reason that you have came here for. So the player base. Where is it? Who is it? I mean, first of all, I'm in it. Me. Ripperoo. So that alone should be reason enough for you to buy about 5 copies and give them all to your friends. Okay, no, I'm joking. So, let's talk about the player base. So it's pretty bad, to be fair. Sometimes I actually can't find a game, which is sometimes a little bit annoying when I just want to jump on and play a little bit of Quantum League, but nobody else is on. But most days I can find a game. As of today, when I am recording this, we're about a month away from their full release, and Playerbase has started to grow, and I can only imagine once it becomes fully released, they're going to do a big push for advertising, the Playerbase will grow from there, and you're going to have no problems finding games. So it is a little bit problematic at the moment, but that issue should solve itself soon. And this game has massive potential as well, so don't underestimate that. Anyway, that wraps this video up. I hope that you purchase the game and that you really enjoy it as much as I do. obviously go through the tutorial and everything and get the basics down there. But if you'd like some extra help, come back to my channel. I've got quite a few videos for newer players, and also some stuff for the more advanced players who want to look at some of the deeper strategy of the game. So I think that just about wraps it up. Hopefully I'll see you out there in the arena. See ya.